Hey friends, this is a little recap of some of the activation and grounding techniques that we practiced at the beginning of the session. So you can use this however feels helpful for you. You can kind of break this up into sections, use certain practices a la carte. If you're feeling like you need more activation or more grounding at certain points in the day, just kind of use it in whatever way feels useful to you. So the full practice is about 15 minutes long, but it's easy to break up into like 5-minute chunks or shorter if you'd like. All right, so we'll start out with just our little shaking. So you can start to kind of shake out your arms, shake your legs out. That feels good. If you want, you can add some kind of like vigorous, like staccato breath. Something like a lion's breath. Okay. So once again, just as much or as little as you're needing in that moment. If you'd like, if you really want to get funky with it, you can kind of integrate some hops. You can feel like heavy in your shoulders, let your arms just kind of drop down out of their sockets. Good, and just taking a few more beats here, and we'll settle back down, making the movement smaller, and coming to neutral. We'll start with our body waves. So an inhale, arms up, exhale, sweeping down. Inhale, exhale. So you can be as big or as small with these movements. If you don't feel like taking your head down so far, you can just take smaller little dips. Be as vocal as you'd like here. So that sigh feels good on the exhale. Any kind of release that feels good for you here. So doing this as long as you'd like. When you're ready to move on, making these movements smaller, coming back towards standing, and we'll go right into our swings. So swinging our arms side to side, once again, as big or as subtle with these movements as feels supportive for what you need. Maybe coming up onto that back toe, opposite toe to the direction that we're swinging. And doing this for as long as feels good. And when we're ready to settle, letting the movements become smaller. Coming to neutral and taking a wide-legged stance. We're going to take our trunk twists now, or torso twists. So taking wide-legged stance, you can point your toes slightly out. That's comfortable, bending into the knees. You can take your hands to your shoulders, maybe cactus arms, or hands on the waist, whatever feels more comfortable for you. So just finding a position that feels sustainable. And we're going to start to kind of twist around that column of the spine, okay? And that energetic column through the center of the torso. So you can start with small movements, maybe breathing through 1 or 2 sweeps. Or if you want, you can let your breath become quicker here. So if you want, you can move faster, make this more vigorous, or slow it down. And if you feel any kind of discomfort in the low back, you can also do this slightly leaning forward. Okay, so that takes some of the tension off of the low back. You might get a little bit more abdominal engagement as well. So doing this as long as you'd like. And when you're ready to transition, making those movements smaller, coming back to an upright position if you had bent forward, and settling back. And then you can just let your arms go. Let your arms go, swinging side to side, just dead arms here. You can let your hands slap your body. It's a little more kind of physical input here. So it can be as big or as subtle as you'd like. And sometimes this alone is just a nice little reset technique. It helps to kind of release those bracing patterns in the muscles, kind of helpful for a little cortisol dump when you need it. All right, so just taking as long as you'd like here. When you're ready to transition, we can make this movement smaller. And settling back into our stance. So this can work just as a standalone practice, this first portion. So maybe that's all you need as a little reset. If you'd like to continue, you can move into your wall presses, okay? Wall or chair stretches. I don't have a wall right here, so I'm going to use the back of a chair, okay? Same idea, I'm just pressing my hands into it as I step back. So finding that V shape or downward dog at the wall or back of a chair. Opportunity to start letting our breath slow down. Maybe even guiding our breath into the back body. Maybe with each exhale, encouraging a little more softness through the shoulders. And spending as much time here as you'd like. And if you want, you can integrate some lunges. So maybe taking the right leg forward, stepping that right foot forward towards the wall of the chair, inhaling, pressing into that surface as you extend through the front body. As you exhale, lengthening into that front leg, releasing forward. Following your breath, inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to soften back down. I'm just taking as many reps as feels supportive for you. And when you're ready to transition, you can step back. Just take a moment, reset, and step the left leg forward. Once again, inhaling, lengthening through the front body. Exhale, softening down as you lengthen that front leg. No need to lock the knee here. Just taking as many as you'd like. When you're ready to transition, you can step back, reset, and stepping forward, coming back to standing. So that can be its own standalone practice. If you'd like, you can move into our body sweeps and or tapping, okay? So we'll start to kind of create some energetic friction between the hands and just start to sweep off the body. So starting at the top of the head, so sweeping the top of the head, back of the head, sweeping off the face, coming down the neck, sweeping off the chest, all right, coming to the ribs, coming down the arms, All the way down the belly, low back, sweep your butt off, all the way down the legs, front and back, all the way down to your feet. When you've come to your feet, give a little kind of slap, maybe a little activation, wake them up, and settling in. So maybe that's all you need. Option 2 is the tapping. So we can start with our fingertips, just right at the top of the head, just nice and gentle, so you feel that vibration in the skull. Okay. You can move our fingers to right above the eyebrows. And coming down below the eyes, right on the bone, nice and gentle. Coming to the upper lip. And upper chin. And then coming on to the sternum. So you can take open hands here, or maybe making fists. If it feels better, you can cross your arms. Okay, so coming down to the low ribs, under the armpits, coming down to the low back. Okay, it can be slapping, or the fists can feel like a nice little massage here. Coming to the front of the thighs. Okay, open hand, maybe fists. And coming down behind the knees. And all the way down the calves. Once again to the bottoms of our feet. Whoa. All right. Sorry if you can hear my neighbor's child screaming. That's part of the yoga too. Okay. So if you'd like, you can finish your practice with the supported breath work. So maybe finding a wall if that's accessible for you, or choosing to sit in a chair, or you can stand still just as you are. And just starting to come back to your breath. Just allowing things to become a little slower and deeper. Letting your breath come into the ribs, into the back body, maybe even reaching the belly. And nice long extended exhale. If you'd like, you can integrate your hands as you inhale, letting your hands float up, palms facing up. As you exhale, you can flip your hands, just pressing back down with the exhale. Inhale, floating up. Exhale, settling down. And just taking as long as you'd like with this practice. And I'll leave you here, friends. We'll see you soon.